Well, we are set for the all-important Super 8 game between India and Afghanistan. Two of the sides that did really well in the group stage. India coming into the Super 8 stage unbeaten. Afghanistan, on the other hand, won three matches in a row. They defeated New Zealand by a big margin, got the better of PNG and Uganda, and then lost to the co-hosts West Indies. But then once again coming into Barbados, it's going to be starting from a clean slate for both India and Afghanistan. It's going to be a spin challenge, not just for one team but for both teams. Both possess quality players in their lineup, and once again it promises to be a cracker. Well, Afghanistan haven't really defeated India in T20 eyes, let alone T20 World Cup, but things could change today. What do you think?
I mean, see, if you look at Afghanistan's journey in T20 World Cup history, it all started in the West Indies against India, 2010.
Yeah.
14 years later, they have taken the place of what New Zealand could have been.
The bouncer barrage from Ashish Nehra.
Yes, and A1, C1, if you look at the preceding, it was going to be India-New Zealand.
No, don't be talking about precedings.
Well, there is a video that's up on that preceding complications that have come up.
Yeah.
Now, let's see what the pitch in Barbados has shown, because now the real T20 World Cup has begun. That was a trailer, what you saw in New York. Now the real film is going to be played out in Barbados, in Antigua, in St. Lucia, Providence, and hopefully 9 days, and at this particular moment, India are playing at the final at the Kensington Oval.
Just before we get to the talking about the match, about the preceding, you know, I will not criticize that a lot, and I'll tell you why. Because I feel the reason for preceding was so that fans know where their team, after qualifying for the Super 8s, would know, and then they could make their travel plan according to that also.
That's not what you feel, Josh, but that's exactly what
the
ICC
so I think
said.
that I think that is not wrong.
In which era and in which sport does a main organization announce that India will play a semi-final in Providence, Guyana? Which any sporting precedent, please highlight that, then your argument holds value.
No, there is none. Because I'll tell you why. Because the whole concept of draws for ICC tournaments have been a sham for as long as I can remember. Yeah. There is no draw. How is it that, because you really have to be having some next level coincidental draw, that in every World Cup you seem to have an India-Pakistan match? Every World Cup, really? Yeah. There is no this thing. The preceding was done to benefit India, to benefit certain teams, to benefit the bigger teams. It's always how it's been, and that is the sad reality of, we talking about, I've heard a lot of fans praise, and rightfully so, this World Cup has featured 20 teams. Yes, you're right. At least it's putting the world in a World Cup. It doesn't feel like a Champions Trophy. But then what's the point if the big teams are getting the favors anyway? Oh. I understand that, you have to look at where your bread is buttered, but there is no consistency, there's no format, there's no actual way of seeding. So, I mean, in a FIFA World Cup, you will never see Brazil-Argentina happen in every group stage. In fact, for the longest of times, they haven't really been together in the same group, because the way the rankings are done and the way the seedings are done, it's keeping in mind historical performance and the current rankings, which means that these teams will more often than not be avoiding each other. But for this, you're just ensuring that everything is in the this thing. I understand that travel thing is considering, but that's secondary. When has that ever been a concern?
I mean, but like talking about football, I think there are a lot of teams that can compete.
20 years.
Yeah. But here, that teams which can actually compete, and the one game that can be sold is the India-Pakistan game in the World Cup.
I'll tell you again, that is the problem.
And I think that's the reason.
That is your myopic vision. Cricket will never grow, okay?
Yeah.
One reason is, look at the travel that England has done. Just 400 miles.
Look at the travel Sri Lanka did in their group stage.
Until the last group stage game. Look at the travel there.
I'm talking about from the overall perspective.
Look at South Africa. There is a very big creamy layer. India, England, Australia. That's it. And you're talking about a romanticism. Oh, USA are going to do well. I heard this in 2007. I heard this in 1983. Fast forward everything. Yeah, 1983 Zimbabwe, 2007 Ireland. Look where they are. USA are the last of anybody's concerns. So that is why, we'll all be getting into this romanticism. USA, the star, the team of the ICC T20 World Cup. I will ask everybody's reactions after August 1 or July 1. Then I will tell you where USA really fits into the global
Listen,
scene.
it doesn't matter where USA fits in. Their team could go on to win the World Cup right now. That's the only way you'll generate some interest in America, because otherwise interest in America is non-existent. There's no TV deal. There is no TV deal. An American team is playing a World Cup for the first time in its existence, hosting the tournament, and there's no TV deal. In what era is that feasible? There's no TV deal. Are you kidding me?
And this is America, a superpower, economic
It's
superpower.
the economic superpower, and those two words right there tells you why the ICC is so keen to make inroads.
Yep.
I mean, as I said, if there's one country that will teach you how to squeeze revenue out of anything, it's the United States of America.
But
the capitalist capital of the world.
Yep, and coming back to Barbados, which is a good 1,000 miles away from the US, 58 meters and 67 meters square boundaries, which means they're going to play on that pitch potentially where the England-Australia game happened, one strip before.
Yes.
And that's why the boundary dimensions are even smaller, square. So it is the ball should come onto the bat nicely. The bowlers need to bowl in the right areas. Batters should prosper a bat first pitch.
But I think
But a
India,
batter should prosper and bat first pitch. Those two things don't go. If it's a batter should prosper wicket, then ideally you'd want to know what it is you're chasing. But don't forget, this is also the same place where Australia defended 200 against.
200.
Although that had as much to do with
Yes.
England's middle order not sticking around.
But I think the
lacking
reason
a
why
finisher.
the team winning the toss would like to bat first is that what even Nikhil sir was mentioning in his live, that the wicket has been rolled like this and not straight.
diagonally.
So maybe that thing could actually break the wicket down a little bit as we go into the second innings. I know that 20 overs is not that much to actually change the nature of the wicket, but just a hint of little bit cracks on the wicket on the second innings and ball turning, India could be in the disadvantage with the spinners over there.
See,
if
this
India
is-
end up batting up second.
This is the first day game for Afghanistan.
yes.
Because all their other 4 games have been night games.
But night games would have actually benefited their seamers.
Yeah,
Because again,
Fazala.
under lights, good cross breeze, Fazala could have been flourishing.
But here there is a
He
cross
has
breeze.
been till now in the World Cup.
The cross breeze in Barbados is also strong.
Yeah, 12 kilometers per hour winds.
Yeah.
That's enough to get you some good movement.
But then in case of India, if we have to look at the pitch conditions as were read by Siddharth here, India generally fancy chasing. So if India win the toss, what do you think? Would they be
110%
batting first,
they'll
batting
chase.
second?
They'll
100%.
chase. You see, if you look at it, which are the teams that have chased totals? Australia chased on 180 and England chased 180 versus West Indies and
Indies.
Scotland. Okay. England couldn't chase 200 in Barbados. India have chased totals, but they have been in less excess. It's not in excess of 150.
Yeah.
Not even it's just a 120.
Yeah, 92 and also
Against Pakistan, you defended.
Yeah.
Against USA, also it was 115.
115. So that is why.
Oh, sorry, 110.
Yeah, 110. So that is why it is a big thing that you're looking at this point. Because what will be the team composition? Will there be changes? Nikhil hinted in his reports.
Definitely, there will be a couple of changes at least. I think Kuldeep Yadav definitely will get a
So
look in.
3 spinners and 3 pacers.
Possible. With
With
Hardik
Hardik
Pandya as your
the
third seamer.
Yeah.
So you're saying a Kuldeep Yadav in place of a Dubey, seeing the conditions that you might need a less, you might need
Or
a batter less.
Siraj.
I think if
Rahul
Rahul Dravid,
then batters you'll have 8 only, na?
I think if
need
Rahul
eight batters.
Dravid's press conference is anything to go by, then India are playing Kuldeep for sure.
Kuldeep
and even
even I
Chahal
think
could
is-
play at some stage. I won't be surprised if Chahal
Both
also gets a
Kuldeep
game.
and Chahal.
If that's what I'm saying, na, if his press conference is anything to go by, India might field.
The
Two
only
spinners.
way where you can possibly feature both Kulcha and the 2 spinners, if you're playing a 4-spin attack.
No, I
if-
don't see that happening.
If it happens on a ranked turner at Providence.
Can India run the risk of having only 7 batters?
No.
No.
Not of this kind of a wicket.
2022 showed you can't.
And out of the 7, 1 would be a Jadeja.
Yeah, so you have 6.5 batters. In
6,
essence.
I would say.
Yeah, and actually in this case also, it does look like a good batting wicket. You'd want 8 batters. I don't agree with this logic of if it's a good batting wicket, let's play less batters. No, it's a good batting wicket, play more batters. Then you're giving your top order the freedom to go for it.
The psychological advantage.
Exactly.
And then even if
What's-
you get out, you have a lot of batters who can go for the kill. So that would not be a problem.
But then in that, with that logic, I feel that playing a Kuldeep Yadav would not be possible. You know why? Because you would need 3 pacers for sure.
Yeah.
Because of the breeze and also the reason that dimensions on one side are bigger, so it would be easy, and it could be against the wind or with the wind also. So that could go against playing 3 spinners.
No, you
That's
could use.
the thing.
Then what you do is, for an absolute worst case, if your third pacer can be Hardik, make him bowl 3.
No, but you have also Dubey, na then.
Exactly. Get one over out of Dubey
No,
somewhere
but
in the middle.
Dubey, then it's going to be easier to actually take on Dubey on
course.
Okay,
the
so India have won the toss.
And
I'm sure they will look to bowl
They'll
first.
bowl
Definitely.
I think they'll probably bat first.
No, I don't think so.
Seeing the wicket that it could
Seeing
change
the
later on.
wicket.
Okay, India is batting first.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So it will get slower and lower as the game progresses. That's why they want to make best use
Which
of the
is, I
batting
think, that
conditions.
typical Indian conditions should favor them.
Yeah, it will favor.
No,
them.
but a typical Indian conditions would even favor in Afghanistan.
Yeah,
maybe,
possible.
maybe. But then see, Afghanistan.
But then if it gets low and slow in the second innings, then it's obviously advantage India.
Yeah.
You know, it's played out in one way also because if you look at it, Ibrahim Zadran and Rahmanullah Gurbaz have not batted well while chasing.
Yes.
And not just that, another thing.
But it's just been one game.
But the other thing which I think works out.
Okay, so here is the team. You want to hear the team?
Yeah, please.
Drum rolls, please. So it is Rohit Sharma,
Okay.
Virat Kohli,
Yeah.
Rishabh Pant,
Shocked.
Surya Kumar Yadav,
Shocked.
Shivam Dube,
Shocked.
Hardik Pandya,
Shocked.
Ravindra Jadeja,
Not shocked.
Akshar Patel,
Definitely not shocked.
Kuldeep Yadav,
Yes, sir.
Arshdeep Singh,
And Jasprit Bumrah.
and Jasprit
As I
Bumrah.
said.
Siraj has
Siraj
been
is
left
left
out.
Yeah.
No Mohammad Siraj.
Okay. Expected change. Absolutely. There is
Expected
nothing.
change. Yep.
So you've gone with the safer approach like always.
Why?
I
This is
think
not
it's
fair.
a-
I
This
think
is the
it's a
safer. You've
smart
not
approach,
left
I
it-
would
no,
rather
no,
say
you
that.
haven't shortened your batting.
I don't expect you to shorten your batting.
No, but
the safe
you
approach.
should not.
Now you have to bowl Shivam Dube.
Yeah,
More
one
or
over
less,
at least.
more or less.
One over at
So
least.
Shivam Dube is basically your seventh bowler now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Correct.
he is just 7.
But I think he was a seventh bowler in the earlier matches also. So
Exactly.
But in this case, he might just have to bowl.
he may have to see he's bowling against Afghanistan. He's bowled a lot against them.
He did get a couple of wickets. I remember that
He's bowled
T20
against
series.
Bangladesh also. India's next opponents.
Yeah, but then that was a warm-up game.
I'm talking T20I from a very general perspective. He has bowled against Bangladesh. Yeah.
Long time.
Long time.
He has been bowling since a very long time now.
No, Dube was brought into the team in the 18-19 time because predominantly they wanted to, not because of his bowling, because he was a good batter who could bowl
Yeah,
mid.
yeah.
Not because of his bowling. I assure you, there is no team in this earth where Shivam Dube is getting picked purely on his bowling.
Yep.
I know Stephen
Not
Fleming
even an
jokingly
IPL,
said that if
But
you
I think this toss result, it's just a bold prediction from my end that it's basically disadvantage Afghanistan, and I'll tell you why. Because even if they are chasing around, let's just assume that they're chasing 170, 175 odd also in a big pressure game. If they lose their openers early, Afghanistan are under tremendous pressure because their middle order is yet to be tested. They have failed in all of the occasions that they have got their chances to prove. Whether it was against New Zealand, West Indies, and there was one more game against I think Papua New Guinea. So that's where they haven't really scored when it has mattered. So that's where I think it's going to be a very big test for them.
So far, when you look at the venues in the West Indies, what has been the general trait? Okay. South Africa, USA, South Africa defended. Okay, they batted first. Australia defended against England. Okay, I'm talking about the matches which I can think from the top of my mind.
we can check on this thing
Now-
I remember Australia chased down against Scotland also.
Scotland, but that was in St. Lucia. I'm talking about
West Indies and then.
Barbados in
and
particular.
Antigua. These two venues,
Yes.
because that's where you're going to see the next thing. Okay.
And Afghanistan also have one change that Kareem Jannat is out and Hazratullah Zazai, who is the injury replacement for Mujibur Rahman, is playing.
Yeah.
So he's an opening batter, basically a batter for them.
Okay. Yeah. So that is the way we are looking at it, because one change each for. So if I have to look at it, England, Namibia, England defended. Okay. England, Scotland got washed out in Barbados. Australia, if you look at it, versus both. I think against Namibia they chased. Oman also they batted first and they defended it. So if I have to look at Barbados,
Sri Lanka defended against Netherlands.
yeah, but that is in a venue where India not going to play.
Yeah.
It's an honest way. So that is why it is going to be it's a 50-50 lottery wicket. There are no trends. Barbados, Antigua and St. Lucia, all are three. My mic is humming. Okay.
Has it transformed itself into a bird, has it? Now it's fine.
Fine. Okay, so I don't know what technology and its vagaries I'm telling you. So it's a lottery wicket, lottery pitch, and you have to make do with the conditions that are there at this point in time. Whoever does well in the conditions on that day, don't go by past trends, don't go by all the other things, perform well on that given day.
I want to ask all three of you this question. How big a role do you think is wind actually play here? Because I can see that it's, by the look of it, it's not a light breeze. It's like quite a strong wind blowing in Barbados. So will it give that advantage to someone like I know Fazal Farooqi till now has taken wickets under lights, and that definitely gives advantage. At night there is more advantage. But do you think that this wind is going to play a vital role? And you know that Indian openers do tend to hesitate a little bit in front of swing.
See, in the history of cricket, there are potentially only two venues where the wind plays a major factor in the outcome, whether it's with bowling, whether it's with a drift, swing. One is the Basin Reserve in Wellington.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
And the other one was the Waka at Perth.
Eden Park? Auckland?
Not Eden Park. Eden Park was closed.
But even, no, Wankhede, no.
No. In India, you may see a bit of that in Chennai.
Yeah, because that's because there are open spaces between
There
the
are
stands.
open spaces.
But there's very
No, but in
few.
Wankhede also, it's because it's closed, the air wind gets trapped in between also.
Not really. There, the only thing what brings some breeze is the fact that it's close to sea.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. Otherwise, no. There are very few grounds in India. Chennai is right. It's probably the only. That too because there's space between
and
the
also
stands.
it's also close to the sea. Marina is not that far. Now, if you look at West Indies, how much swing did you see in an open air stadium at the Vivian Richards ground in Antigua?
No, North Sound is definitely one of the most sluggish pitches you'll find.
And you didn't see that much swing of the air. You saw a bit in Providence, but night conditions are different, day conditions are different
completely
in
different,
Providence. You look at St. Lucia. St. Lucia, one part is slightly open, but the others are covered, so you won't get that much of a wind, and that was in the mountains. So that's why you won't get that much of a swing. Maybe you might get some of the deck. Here in Barbados, often we have seen it's come from the pitch. Whatever movement you have to get out of it, it's comes from the pitch. Now we are looking at Fazal Farooqi swinging it, but he has to bowl through the right end. If the end is wrong, then he's had it then.
Yeah.
Bowling from the Warhol Walcott Weeks end, if he can get that breeze coming in from the west, where I am standing at this point, this is west. If it comes from the west, he will get a lot of assistance, but that's only very part of it.
Yeah.
Barbados pitch does
But
most
then
of the thing,
he'll also get exposed to the leg side.
which is the shorter side mostly if you look at it.
But then
or
that would be
outside.
against the wind.
It's a fine balance that you have to do.
Yeah.
And that is why don't read too much into the conditions. Because see, if it's a typical Indian deck, first 10-15 overs is going to be great. After that, it's going to be very sluggish. Then a total of 170, 180, Afghanistan will not find it easy. Because even when they have chased, you look at the West Indies game, they were done for. Because the start that they got, they were 6 overs, 92, they were deflated.
Yes.
And Afghanistan's batting is the main reason why I didn't keep them as one of the main
Actually, if you
teams.
look at it,
Especially the middle order batting.
It's not even just the middle order. I'll specifically name check two players, Najibullah Zadran and Hazratullah Zazai. That's it. Because if you look at the rest of it, there's enough actually firepower there. Zadran, I know, can be a little slow, but if he's one anchor, Gurbaz, you give him the license to fire and he will. Azmatullah Omar Zai, we know can tonk it. Nabi, we know can tonk it. Gulbuddin Naib, we know can tonk it. It's beyond me why the hell Rashid Khan bats at 8.
Exactly.
We know he can tonk it.
But Rashid Khan is more used as a pinch hitter.
Yeah, but still, pinch hitter is fine. He can hit it better than some of the middle order batters.
Yeah, that's true.
I would rather have him higher up the order
Maybe
than
at
batting at number
6.
8.
Yeah.
Even at 5.
But there's nobody to blame. He's the captain himself.
Yeah, it's very funny. That's the whole thing. But actually, the main problems for them are Najibullah Zadran and Hazratullah Zazai, because both of them very slow. They're decentish batters for ODIs. T20Is not so much. So actually, it will really depend on, I think, what the kind of start that Gurbaz and Zadran get them, and that I'm talking about the second innings. Because then I'd be tempted if I was them, if they get a good start. Say they're 160 and they got about 70 before you get a wicket. Then I'd be tempted to push someone like a Naib up.
Yes.
Because again, he's
Or no,
To put that build that innings with the perfect momentum and that right acceleration, and he has got that game sense also that comes with experience, so he could actually make the innings and take Afghanistan over there.
and with Naib,
And we have seen him done that almost against India earlier also.
correct.
But then in Afghanistan's case, I'm a little surprised with the selection of Hazratullah Zazai, because see, he has a very limited game. If it's in the slot, obviously it's going to be out of the park. But then that's where I think the Indian bowlers would be smart enough to make sure that they keep it wide outside of off stump, or maybe just make sure that he has to reach out for his shots. So that's where I think I'm a little surprised, because having Kareem Jannat would have basically given them an all-round option.
Yeah, but I think
because he
they've
can
been
bowl
little
those crucial
scarred.
overs
Oh
also.
no! But I think they'll be scarred by what India did to Karim Jannat in India. Poor guy, Jannat hi dikha diya usse.
I know, that was a very bad thing. And see, what is the stronger suit of Afghanistan? Chasing or batting first? If you look at the last T20 that they played against India, they almost came close to winning that by chasing.
Yeah, but I think Afghanistan are one of those teams, their bowlers are their obvious strength.
Yeah.
So I think they don't really mind defending, which is perhaps also one reason why India maybe decided to take that out of their hands. Say, listen, we know chasing is your strong suit, or not your strong suit. So go in there and let's see if you can.
But let's not also forget that this is the same, pretty much the same Afghanistan team that defended, that chased successfully against Pakistan and Sri Lanka in the 2023
again,
One Day
it was
World Cup.
different
It's a different format, but there is a confidence
Can't
factor
read
that
too
you
much
can
into
always carry into it.
Can't read too much because see, in that it was the same Ibrahim Sadra and Hazratullah Zazai who managed to ensure you had the buffer. But here,
And then you had Hashmatullah Shahidi also.
and also the other major problem for the Afghan batters, for a team that has produced leg spin and left arm spin, leg spin, they struggle against left arm leg spinners themselves.
I see.
That's why Kuldeep Yadav has such a good record against them.
The only reason, like you mentioned, that maybe Afghanistan would have liked to actually want India to chase down totals after actually coming out and scoring some runs. This might just go against India also if the wicket actually doesn't change. Because if they manage to restrict India on less score, because early in the morning, they could use the swing, the conditions a little bit to their
It'll be
advantage.
fresh,
Yeah, and it will be a fresh wicket. That could go against India, and that's why I feel the decision at the toss is a little defensive one, because India's stronger suit is to actually go out and chase the total.
Actually,
they would have actually,
if you want
gotten
to,
rid of the Afghanistan batters easily and then chased down that total.
totally disagree. If you want to improve that one weak suit that has hurt you in all major ICC events, it's been batting first.
Exactly. Actually,
Yeah.
this is the best game to do that.
You are proactive.
No, but then you're doing that to actually
Twice against Pakistan and New Zealand. And then
No.
against
See, if
England.
the thought process is that to actually bat first, that you want to get prepared for moving ahead in the tournament when you actually come batting out, I don't think that's the that's
why
the
do you
reason
think-
why.
why do you think they would
to
have
actually
batted?
Because the pitch.
Yeah,
Rohit Sharma
because the
pretty much
wicket could
said.
change.
He said that it'll
No,
alter.
that's what I'm saying. If the wicket does not end up changing, see, by the look of it, it looks a really good batting wicket right now. But like it might just end up breaking a little in the second inning. So that could just be a
So
little.
isn't that a good strategical move? Why must you always wrap it around weakness or defensive mindset? For once in cricket, I know cricket has very little of it. It's not like chess, but it's strategy. I won the toss. I feel that the wicket is going to break down later on and it's going to be...
Yeah, if it's going to
defensive
break down,
about
then it's no. Then
Even-
I'm saying it's the right decision, even if it doesn't.
Even if it doesn't, I think India's bowlers have the firepower to defend it.
No, and see, the reading of the pitch which they've done is, and by the way, why I'm trusting that this reading may be true is because it's one thing if the experts are reading it and they see it, one way. We've seen that not work out sometimes. I remember during the IPL, Graham Swan said one day in some pitch that it doesn't look like it has a lot of runs and it was a 200 plus score
270
to the point where he himself had to go on comms and apologize saying, listen lads, I got this one wrong.
Yeah.
But here the pitch report has said that it will deteriorate and Rohit himself seems to believe the same thing. So that's the thing, I do think it will deteriorate, so I don't think it's a bad strategy call, because again the toss, once you have it, then
Exactly.
that's your call what you want to do.
Winning the toss is always an advantage, and when you can choose, I think why not just choose things according to the
I
conditions,
mean,
and
if
that's what I think
a
Rohit has
different
done.
format, if I have to look at it, if Australia had won the toss on November 19, they did win it, but then they didn't go by the strength.
Does that date exist?
It exists.
No, they went with the conditions.
So, aren't India going in with the conditions?
Yeah,
The pitch at
no,
this point.
I'm agreeing. I'm only saying if it doesn't end up changing.
But
And
again,
if it gets
and buts is a different
Yeah.
issue altogether at this point in time, because you have to understand one thing. All that gets swept under the carpet with strategy. If it pays off, great. If it doesn't pay off, well.
And more importantly, it'll get swept under the carpet depending on results.
Yes.
Yeah.
Results also important.
Yep. So, I think we are joined by Nikhil. Is it sure? Okay, so we'll be joined by Nikhil from the Kensington Oval in Barbados. But yeah, going over the India side, we expected that one change will happen, and it has happened. Virat, Rohit, Rishabh, Suryakumar, Shivam Dube, Hardik Pandya. I think this will be the batting order unless there's a collapse. Jaddu, Aksar, Kuldeep, Arshdeep, Jasprit Bumrah.
As for Afghanistan, they've also gone, I think, unchanged only.
हमारी एंट्री कहाँ से?
They've gone unchanged, in
Yeah.
fact, because with India there was one change, right? So Afghanistan have, of course, Gurbaz Zadran openers. Then you've got Hazratullah Zazai as a Najibullah Zadran, Gulbuddin Naib, Asmatullah Umar Zai, Mohammad Nabi, Rashid Khan, and of course, pure bowlers. You've got Noor Ahmad, Naveenul Haq, and of course, the leading wicket taker of the tournament so far, Fazal Haq
Farooqi.
Yep. So there is Nikhil from the Kensington Oval in Barbados. And Nikhil, can you hear us?
Sometime now.
Yeah. So, well, is Kensington Oval painted India blue? Because I didn't say it is
Yeah,
painted
it
blue
is.
because Afghan and India jersey is almost the same.
It is. But it is the India blue, you're right. If you are not a lot of fans left now, they've all gone in. Not a lot of fans that you see now because the game's about to start in 10 minutes, so majority of them have gone in. But if you did see my earlier live stream that I did from outside the ground, you would have had a inclination in terms of the number of Indian fans. Oh, I see something very interesting. Let me quickly show you. You've seen the Indian flavor, but I can see some Caribbean flavor. Like carnival type Caribbean flavor. I can see some Caribbean dances happening. The calypso band.
The
not too far
Bajans.
from here. So let me show you and our viewers via that. Can you hear the calypso beats?
Very mildly.
Yeah, pretty mild.
Okay, let me show you.
Okay.
Well, that looks fun.
Yep, that is
Yep.
fun. Yep. The Bajans in their entire glory. But we can't hear anything. Couldn't hear.
Well, the audios are minimal.
Yeah.
Well, that looks good fun.
It
It
is.
brings a very unique, let's say, atmosphere, which you don't really get in many other places as far as at least cricketing this thing is concerned.
Yep.
This kind of stuff, very, very Caribbean, very, very unique
Yeah.
to the West Indies, to the Caribbean islands.
It's the Bajan way of expressing the fun that is there, and you'll get it in all the islands of Antigua, in you may say Barbados. You'll get it even in Jamaica. Not so much in Guyana. You may get it even in Jamaica also. But Jamaica,
Guyana is South American, no, isn't it?
yeah, it is the only South American country to host a World Cup. And okay, there is no audio. Yeah, or maybe I think it's better we don't have an audio thing. Copyright could happen.
Very well. Well, this is fun to watch indeed.
It is fun to watch. With
We have
Pakistani fans.
Pakistani fans.
Oh,
They're there everywhere.
They are cricket fans.
Wearing the Pakistan jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nikhil, we couldn't hear anything in that audio, but then it looked really fun. The typical Bajan kind of way, how they would want to have fun at this point.
How can you hear?
No, 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 we can't hear.
Okay. So yeah, just in a Bajan flavor, I thought I'll show you. Yeah, so India's made that one change,
Yep.
which I expected. A video early in the morning because late last night I got to know from a little birdie that India is going to be making a change. Which is why first thing in the morning I did a video saying that I'm getting to hear a change is happening, though I personally didn't think they would, but I got to know yesterday that at least one change. They were even contemplating two changes, but at least one change they were going to make. And lo and behold, they have made that change. I also, if you remember the video we had done from after the press conference, where Rahul Dravid had pretty much hinted that Kuldeep was going to play.
Yep.
Yes.
And that's exactly what we had reported. So no surprise because, there he went on to say, and Rahul Dravid out of all the people is the least committal. So, most non-committal person in that sense. And if he goes on to say that, listen, we've got Kuldeep here for a reason. And yeah, there could be a chance that he plays. He hinted. And Rahul just saying that much kind of let you know that he was going to be playing. I think a good change
Yeah.
that they've done. Also, they're batting first. which is also good. Try and put scoreboard pressure on the chasing team. Also bowling second, no issue because no due. So in a day game, you can bat first, put that pressure. So I think that's something that India has taken into account. It's a good toss to win as well. I mean, I don't know. You guys will do predictions. I'm going 180 plus.
Yeah.
I'm going 180 plus on this track.
Um,
More than that, anything over that.
Yeah. Nikhil, is there a strong wind blowing even today at the Kensington Oval?
Yes. Yes, there is. And what's interesting, I'll let you know that there is. And the wind is actually, usually comes from the ocean. This one's blowing away from the ocean. Away in the sense it's blowing towards the ocean, right? And
Yep.
so you will have a cross breeze. What that will do is that there are two sides of the boundary because you're using one pitch on one end. So there's the short side of the boundary, the long side of the boundary. And interestingly, the wind direction right now is is against the ball when you're hitting towards the long side of the boundary. So anyway, long side of the boundary, you try not to hit too much. And now the wind is coming from there too. So which will make it even tougher to cross that side of the boundary. So you may see a lot of tactical play happening. You may see, let's say, a good bowler in Rashid and all trying to bowl where the short boundaries to the leg, like, okay, go for a hit because, he's capable enough to, put pressure under them. Or I think what they might do the other way would be that bowlers that can be attacked, I think those bowlers, they will, I think, bowl in a way that the long boundary is on the leg side. So enticing basically Indian batters against the lesser capable bowlers. I think that could be the strategy that Afghanistan might have when India come out to bowl. And I think Indian team also will play tactically. You'll have to bat tactically and your bowling changes and which bowler bowls from which end will all come into play. So that'll be interesting.
Yep, a 58-meter boundary and a 67-meter boundary in the squares. That's the dimension. So at this point, it'll all depend on the tactical changes, how the bowlers employ and how it's going to be. You already made a prediction, Nikhil, 180 plus, right? That will be the winning combination.
Yeah, I'm going, okay, if you ask me, I'm going 200.
Ooh.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay, 200. What about you guys?
I'll bite the bullet. I'll start. I'd say India get about 193
Okay.
and win.
187 and India win.
Okay. 195 and India win.
Okay. 173 and India win.
Oh, okay.
I mean, what a nice thing to hear, because in the New York area, when we were just managing score predictions, it was 120, 130.
And even that didn't happen.
Even that didn't happen. Here we are hoping that it happens, that we get a good batting deck, and generally Barbados has given you a nice batting deck in that sense. The England-Australia game was one such instance. So let's see how it pans out. And
Just one thing I would want to ask you, sir, just before you enter the stadium, that how is it going to be, and how advantageous is it going to be for the Afghanistan fast bowlers, especially Fazal Farooqi? The wind till now, we were talking about this before this also, that the wind will it play a big factor, because till now in the night games he has been really useful to the Afghanistan side. So in this day game with the wind blowing, is he going to be dangerous to the Indian batters?
See, I mean, he's the highest wicket taker, right? So I'm not going to take him lightly, but I think the Indian batting has a lot of class to deal with him today, and also not bowling under lights. I know the wind will help in some sort of swing, and I think the Indian batters would have to be slightly careful. See, for them, it's an amazing sort of a situation, Afghanistan, right? You get a Fazal Farooqi to pick you early wickets. Let's say so you've got your two most experienced batter, Rohit, Virat up there. Imagine your fast bowlers, and Rahul Dravid mentioned both in Naveenul Haq and Fazal Haq, both. They pick you these two big guys in the beginning. You set the cat amongst the pigeons for the Indian team, and then Rashid will do the rest in the middle over. So that will be the ideal scenario for Afghanistan, that your fast bowlers pick up two quick wickets, and they are very well capable of doing that. Having said that, I think the batting conditions on offer, considering it's a day game, I don't see him being as effective as he's been in the tournament so far. Different condition, different batting lineups. I think this Indian team could deal with him. Also, the other thing we're going to see with this Indian team today, which should be kind of seeing, and I think will be a good test today, is their all-out approach. Rahul Dravid mentioned about pushing the needle. He said we've certainly pushed the needle. We've certainly made a conscious decision to play T20 cricket differently in terms of our attacking approach. We keep looking at situation and changing. But if it's going to be a belter of a track, which I expect it's going to be, then I really want to see how much of the needle have they pushed. And today will tell us a lot about that. So even if they were to lose wickets early with Fazal Faruqi, let's see their approach. I don't see their approach changing.
Yeah, for example, 6 overs, if they are 60 for 2, I don't think they'll mind that
absolutely.
at all.
Not at all.
But there's still, a lot of batting there.
Depends on who the two are.
I mean, I think this Indian batting is flexible enough in that sense.
Yeah, because they have 4 lefties and 4 righties, right? So I think you'll be seeing that being used accordingly.
Yep. So that's the situation, and we are all set. Rohit, the Roko Jodi, can they fire?
At long last.
At long last. We'll see. Both have a good record against Afghanistan. Rok Sake to Roko, indeed. Indeed. And both have a great record. I mean, Rohit, last match he hit 100 and was instrumental in that super over thing. Virat broke his jinx against Afghanistan only when he scored that 100 in November Asia Cup. So that is why it is going to be a really good thing. And Nikhil has entered the Kensington Oval.
Yeah, so we'll let you go. Oh, he's gone already.
He's gone already.
We'll take a couple of questions before winding up this live stream. So we've got Dhanush, who's pointing on Mitchell Stark's ICC knockout matches stats. Matches 9, wickets 19, average 25.94, strike rate 28.89. Should have put an economy there as well.
But second time he's mistaken. He not put the economy.
As he says, doesn't choke in knockout matches like bowler I said yesterday. Of course, Dhanush was talking about Bumrah. And we know Mitch Stark in knockouts is impedance.
But again,
ask KKR fans for proof.
Yeah, but Dhanush, wait for the semi-finals. I'll see.
Because again, this is not the knockouts. This is basically a second group stage.
This is a group stage. If you don't do well this, then you're knocked out.
Yeah,
that is the.
Then you're knocked out before the knockouts.
Exactly.
Even 2 wins and 1 defeat can still knock you out.
Shakin PS is saying the Sky Show is loading today, and then rather sarcastically adding that he'll never leave teams like Afghanistan. Mayank Madan says, barring a Hardik Pandya, Afghan all-rounders are better batters than Indian all-rounders. Raidu is a cricket pundit. Well, man, that's Raidu's opinion.
That's Raidu's.
That's a fair point.
And the job has been given to him, which means he's good at what he is.
Exactly. Sarath says, what's the big issue in where we play? It's 2 grounds and semis, so teams basically prepare before itself, and now saying rigging and all is unnecessary. Sarath, wrong. If no one has said rigging, but if you know full well where it is that you're going to be playing, then
plan accordingly.
You can plan very well accordingly.
See, and Sarath Chandra, let me tell you one thing. Name any sport where conditions play a part, where all these play a part, where the main organization announces that India are going to play at that venue in the semi-final.
And where you do this stupid pre-seeding,
This was even done in the 2023 World Cup for Pakistan.
When they say the pre-seeding, at least that was different. That was not a security concern. That's a whole different matter. The thing with the pre-seeding is that what it did was ensured you had so many dead rubbers.
Yep.
What is the point? We didn't care about West Indies versus Afghanistan because it didn't matter who finished first or second.
Sarath Chandra, I'll turn the table. If it was England or Australia at that time, would you be accepting it?
Not a chance.
No way, you won't, because it's India, you're blinded by that. Please, for the broader wisdom, cricket has to be on a level playing game. As simple as so.
In fact, as Priyanshu correctly points out, and that'll be the last comment we take, says that India always tries to take unfair advantage and karma hurts them. In World Cup 23, they played in Chennai against Australia and England at Lucknow. By this narrow mindset, you will not win a trophy. Couldn't agree more, Priyanshu. His last question, will Fazal get Rohit Virat?
No.
I don't know about get, but he could definitely trouble.
Yeah.
By the way, there is not much of swing.
Yes.
It's only the first ball. Give it time.
Oh,
there is some movement there. There's late movement there.
Late, but not that
And
much.
late movement has always troubled these
can
two
trouble
batters.
anybody.
Late movement troubles anyone.
Yeah.
Let's leave aside Rohit's struggles against left arm swing for now. Late swing will trouble the greatest of batters.
Exactly.
Anyhow, we'll take your leave for now. We're seeing some predictions. Prakash Jha saying 168. Varun Parvatanani is hoping for 200. Big predictions. You guys can let us know in the comments. Let us know some more. We'll read them later on. But for now, we'll take your leave. Thank you guys so much for joining. joining us. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, tap the bell, all that stuff. Follow us on social media, Instagram, X, Facebook. That's where you can find us. And stay tuned right now, though, from Siddharth, Shashwat, and Shane, the 4 S's.
The 4 S's,
and
yeah.
Shivam, our producer, 5
5
S's.
S's, yes.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. The 5 samurais.